That the motion be agreed to, and I call the honourable member for Goldstein.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, I have to say I start the discussion on this motion noting the contribution from the member for Bruce and those who have made contributions, and say frankly how disappointing it has been that they seek to politicise something as important as making sure we reunite people who fall in love, and to suggest in this discussion that the government opposes love is frankly farcical and highlights that they are not actually serious about the serious issues at the heart of this motion, what our focus is, which is making sure we have an orderly migration system, protecting and securing our borders, and building an Australia for everybody to be able to realise their ambition and their dreams. Now, we know, Deputy Speaker, at this time, we are not in a normal period. Earlier this year, because of decisions and advice from health authorities, we closed the international borders and introduced a travel exemption system in extraordinary circumstances. Truthfully, Deputy Speaker, I never thought I would see this situation. I remember when it was first discussed, and I, including by myself, and was flabbergasted at the prospect. And ever since then, we've had challenges as people, Australians, have wanted to go overseas, and of course Australians who want to return home. And I have to say, Deputy Speaker, I have some real issues with the current arrangements, and I've made those comments public because it is a practical reality that I believe that every Australian should have a right to return to their country, and the limitations or barriers should not be unreasonable. But the practical reality is at this time there are many Australians stranded in other parts of the world that want to get home, and they can't. Now, the primary reason that this is occurring is because of the outbreak in Melbourne, our second largest passenger airport, where the state government has chosen to stop receiving international flights. Now, of course, Melbourne is not the only airport we receive people back into. But when you have the second largest with the second largest traffic, it has a real and material impact on the number of Australians that can get home, with the obligation and burden of quarantining as well. And we need to fix that, because I know I have many constituents and their friends and their family who can't get home. And while there are a lot of other issues in migration, including that are raised today, I'm sorry, I'm very hard line on this. Australians have a right to enter into their own country. And Melbourne and the Victorian state government are letting us down. Worse, some airlines have used as an opportunity to exploit people. And I've spoken to the Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister responsible about precisely this issue, where people are having their tickets cancelled and they're being asked to rebook on business class airfares, in many cases where they are being asked to forego up to $50,000 for a family to be able to return home. It is exploitative, it is gouging, it is despicable in this period. Now, I don't doubt the challenges facing the airline industry, but if people buy a ticket, they should expect it to be honoured, Deputy Speaker. And I know that there are some Goldstein residents where their family is in a country, they have to go to a third country to get a connecting flight, and they've gone to that third country to get the connecting flight back to Australia and found their flight then is cancelled. Shameful conduct. Similarly, families in the United Kingdom, the United States, just about every country wanting to have the opportunity to come back to our nation. And they must take precedence, because Australians have a right to come back to their home. And reasonable quarantine measures should be provided and supported. So the sooner you can open Melbourne Airport, Dan Andrews, Victorian Premier, we will be able to fully respect Australians and allow them to come to their home. And it is your mismanagement of the situation that we presently have that is meaning Australians are locked out of their home. And it is wrong. Of course, on partner visas, we fully recognise that there are other people who wish to come to our country to be reunited with the people they love. That's why we have an uncapped program, to make sure there are proper processes in place so it isn't exploited or used for fraud. And that's right, and that's just. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
I thank the member.